Hello and welcome to another episode of the Vessel and Voice podcast. I'm your host, Kim Charlson. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about your energetic base, the thing that really drives you forward throughout your transformation, and how consistency plays a pivotal role in you getting to be the version of yourself you want to become. One of our most popular episodes thus far has been the one about getting unstuck. It is a really common problem for so many of us that we feel that we've been doing the inner work and yet nothing is changing on the outside. You can tune into episode 41 for that episode about getting unstuck, but as part of that, Monty has a bit more to add that I feel is very important for us setting the tone of how we're going to live in 2026. And what's being explored in today's episode is not about actually doing more work. It's not about more fixes, more improvement, being a better version of yourself. It's about understanding your energetic base. It's the moments in between the work. It's the moments in between those things that push us into transformation. It's that baseline of energy that we reside at in our daily lives when we're brushing our teeth to when we're driving to work or doing errands. It's that base of energy that we find ourselves at in our daily lives, not during the moments where we're doing the intense energy work or we're going through the big transformations. It is who we are in every moment. So today's message is all about consistency, and it's not about being in that high vibe, really high vibrational state that is really difficult to maintain all the time and is very unnatural for many of us. It's rather about returning to a consistent base rate of vibration and slowly working at increasing that base rate over time rather than saying, I'm going to make big leaps and bounds forward in my vibration by forcing my energy to be in an expanded state all the time. And Monty talks about this in today's message about the difference between processing energy, which is when we're going through these big transformational moments of allowing energy from external sources and to change our inner landscape, versus the moments where we're not in that transformation. We're in the moments where we're no longer processing energy. We're just being in that state of who we are, as well as when we unconsciously live patterns that cause blocks to reoccur. Very many times we see in energy healing that we'll do all of this work to clear a block out. We'll feel this expanded, beautiful state after we finish this energy work. We feel this big transformation. And then we go straight back into doing the same habits and routines and find that we just created the block over again. It is understanding that consistent base rate is what needs to change. It's not the big transformational moments. It's those small in-betweens that we really need to focus on. So as we listen to Monty's guidance, I want you to think about a couple things. First, where is it that I often see transformative energies as something to fix me, rather than understanding that I can be different without having to have a big transformation? Where are daily habits, perceptions, or reactions pulling you out of alignment with who you want to be? And what does your natural energetic baseline feel like when you're not trying to change anything? So let's hear from Monty. Above all else, in your work in coming into a deeper union with your soul, of allowing yourself to become the version that you want to be, is a consistency of your energy. As we have discussed in many of our previous episodes, the feature of your energy, the allowing of your energy to be in a consistent state, is the way to create the life of your dreams. The allowing of yourself to be in union with your soul on a consistent basis, to be in flow, to be the version of yourself that you want to be, is the way forward. And what this requires is a consistent awareness of who you are being and a consistent awareness of when you are not being who you want to be. Now, this can be very simple in energy work of allowing yourself to set aside time daily for your energetic practices of whatever they may be, to allow yourself to shift your energy from one place to the place that you want to be in. And this can take any form that just allows for this shift to happen. But as you are going about your day, even if you have done the work energetically of shifting the energy and continue to do so over time, it is very often that you continue to engage in the same routines, behaviors, and perspectives that invite in the energetic blocks that you had before. Even if you do consistent energy work on a consistent basis, if you do not do the work of behaving, of being, of acting, and having a different perspective, you will invite those blocks back in again and continue to repeat the same clearings over and over and over while feeling as though you are making very little progress. And while you will chip away, we will say, at those energetic structures, the holding on to energies that are not yours, it is a very slow process indeed. But rather, if you instead focus on your consistency of who you are being all the time and making that into a routine habit, then you can make much greater progress in your energetic work. What we mean by this is having an awareness of your energy in the moment rather than during specific transformations. Every time you engage in energy work, it is engaging in a transformation. You are transforming, transmuting your energy. And that is why you enter into a healing, into energy work in one mode, and you come out in a very different mode. But if you go about your day unconsciously continuing the mode that you do not want to be in, that transformation can only get you so far. What we offer is a very different perspective of instead saying, I am practicing my awareness of my energetic state on a continual basis. I am making a routine of allowing myself to notice my energy throughout the day, to notice the energy that I am being and bringing to different things. Now, we would like to add that this is not about spiritually bypassing, preventing yourself from feeling and processing lower emotions. That is not the case. It is how you are interfacing with the external world that we mean. So, if there is something in your day that is very frustrating or creates a great deal of sadness within yourself, it is that you are taking in the energy, you are processing, experiencing it, and then letting it go. But while you are doing that, although you are feeling those emotions, you are still in an energetic state of flow. You are processing the energy through you. Now, it is always your choice of saying those are energies that I wish to process and to interact with or not. But this is not what we mean when we say, I am attentive to my energetic state and I am going to change it actively. It is not saying the world is a difficult place and I feel sadness at that, and so I am going to abstain from feeling sad. I'm going to ignore what I am feeling and instead getting into a happy, positive place of browbeating myself into this positivity. No. Rather, it is acknowledging when you are processing energies, whether they are yours or not yours, and your relationship to them. So, for example, there is something external that makes you feel sad. Allowing yourself to feel sad, to coming to completeness with that energy, allowing it to let go, and then returning to a more aligned state of that feeling of expansion, of feeling yourself using these energies in whatever way they come up to come more into yourself. Your soul is not always expressing happiness and joy at all times. It also responds to energies externally that make it feel sad, grief, upset. Those are all natural ways for your soul to be. It is that your soul is processing through these energies and moving through these states of consciousness. So, as such, it is gaining awareness of when you are allowing these energies to flow that are not yours, and then when you are returning to your more natural state of consciousness. What we mean by this is in your energetic evolution of the scale of expansion, not the scale of emotions, but expansion, you are at different amounts of expansion more consistently. You will waver from time to time on that scale, such as when you are in meditation, you may reach a higher state of expanded consciousness and then return to your base. When you are experiencing very difficult moments, when you feel as though the weight of the world is crushing on you, you may have a lower level of expanded consciousness in that moment, and then return to your base. It is acknowledging that you will fluctuate all the time, but that you are actively returning to your base and increasing your base over time to allow yourself to get into that expanded consciousness and maintain that energetic consistency as much as possible. It is saying, I am a naturally fluctuating energetic being. My energy is in constant change, but I have a base of energetic expansion that I return to on a consistent basis. As you are attentive of that expansion and returning to your base, allowing yourself to process energies as they come into your field, this is how you create that energetic consistency of energetic work, of saying, I am working on my energy and I am processing emotions that bring me down in my energetic expansion and I return back up. I now am learning how to maintain that energetic base. I am not allowing those emotions, those external energies, to keep me outside of my base for an extended period of time. I am also not forcing myself to a greater level expansion than what I can easily maintain and allowing myself to return to my energetic base. Over time, as you do this, you will become more adept at working with your expansion and your contractions, allowing you to have a deeper range of energies that you can collaborate with. Because while expansion energies are very easy to see how they are productive, contraction energies are also equally as productive. But it is the return to that consistent energetic base that is the requirement of your energetic work. Now, as you are exploring this in your own thought processes, in your own energy, allow yourself the grace to understand that you are a multifaceted energetic being. You have many different sides to you, but that your base of expansion is what is most consistent. We send you great love as you are contemplating this and reflecting on it in your own daily life. That is all. I think the key of this episode here is that it's about our relationship to our energy. It's not about constantly perfecting and saying, I have to be high vibe, I have to be in the right energy all the time, otherwise, I won't get what I want. It's rather about understanding the relationship that you have with your own energetic base of who you are being in every moment of every day. It's understanding where you're operating from just in your average everyday life. Not just in the moments where you're doing meditation or where you're doing energy work or connecting with your guides, but just your average everyday life. What energy are you operating from? Is it yours? Is it something else? And as well, are you lingering in a contracted state longer than you need to? It's not that contracted states are bad. They are a very necessary part of that contraction and expansion. You can't have expansion without contraction. So, when can we allow these energies to be processed through to return to that baseline over and over again? So, one thing that I like to do is instead of asking myself, how could I vibrate higher today? How could I get myself into a more expanded state? Is rather saying, what is my energetic base? Am I returning to my energetic base? Am I trying to force something one way or another? Or can I just be at peace with myself and my energy in this moment? And that's not always easy because when I'm brushing my teeth, sure, not difficult. But when I've had a hard conversation with somebody, that can be something that's really difficult to process through. So it's allowing those contractive moments to occur, allowing the energy to be processed, and then returning to that base rather than saying, I have to force myself to be high vibe in this moment. Otherwise, I'm not doing a good job. It's about raising that base consistently over time through minor adjustments rather than force. So it's not about staying in an expanded state all the time. It's about allowing yourself to contract and then returning to your base and expanding that base over time slowly. And then your energy begins to change over time by allowing yourself to consistently return to that base, allowing yourself to expand that base out little by little by making the small changes in how you're behaving and your perspectives in life and your routines and habits. Over time, you'll find that your energetic base is vibrating higher without any force whatsoever, and that you stop repeating those same patterns that have kept you stuck for so long. Thank you so much for listening to this episode today. It's one that I feel will set the tone for us going into 2026 as we are really deciding who we want to be this year. So, in thinking about your goals for 2026 and your intentions, what is the energetic base that you would like to be at? What is the base that you would like to consistently return to and to be in the position of? Setting that intention now can help set the tone for this year. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in the next episode.